Alright guys, what I've got here today is the iRig Pre. This is an XLR preamp designed to work with iOS devices. It has phantom power, has built-in gain, and it has the wrong plug for your camera. Sure, you could use an adapter to go from this to your camera to plug it in, but let's see if we can hack this thing and turn it into a very awesome $35 preamp for your DSLR. First thing you're going to need to do is take the unit apart. So you're going to need a small Phillips head screwdriver like this one I have right here. Go ahead and pop this off, yank the 9-volt battery out of here. And if you look really carefully, you'll see that there is a screw located right here between these two little posts for the battery terminals. Go ahead and take your screwdriver and remove that from the unit. Once you have that taken off, the case should come apart. Be careful, there's a lot of little wires in here. And you're gonna wanna pop this little tail off right here. The wires you're gonna wanna focus on are these right here, which are the wires going out to the headphone jack. I'm gonna go ahead and take this pair of wire cutters right here and cut those off. Once you have the case open and the wires cut, you have two options for wiring this up to use the headphone output as your audio output for this adapter. You can either wire the red, the black, and this yellow wire together right here and do it that way, or you can remove this screw right here, and this screw in order to take the board off and do the soldering from the back. Either way, you're gonna have to solder the wires. Doing it from the back is probably a little bit cleaner, but if you don't have a lot of tools, combining these three wires together and taping them should be sufficient. This next step is gonna require a soldering iron, which I have right here, and some solder. I've decided to go with the easier route of just bonding these three wires together because that's pretty small and I don't feel like messing with it. So I'm going to take the wire strippers right here and strip those wires and then tie them together. Once you have the wires stripped, go ahead and twist them together. That way they're bonded and it's a little bit easier to apply the solder. Then I'm going to apply just a little bit of flux to this so that the solder wicks up nicely into these three leads. Once you've got that done, wet your iron, then go ahead and apply the solder. After that, you're going to want to apply some tape so the wires don't short out to the board. You'll be left with this green wire right here and this black wire. They are already tied together on the board, so you can either cut them very short or put another piece of tape on them to keep them from shorting to something else. Once you're all done with the unit, you're left with no tail whatsoever, and you can use this little 3.5mm jack to plug this directly into your camera. You can put something over this hole if you want. Right now I've just left it open, but that is a possibility if that's something you want to do. So let's start testing this thing and see how good it sounds. Alright, so right now I have the iRig Pre and I'm using the 48 volts of phantom power to power this cheap Nady CM90 microphone. The Nady CM90 is nothing fancy, it's not an amazing microphone, it's about $50, but it gives you an idea of what you can do with the iRig Pre. Right now I have the camera's gain cranked all the way down to its minimum, just one click above turning the inputs off, and I have the iRig Pre cranked all the way up. I am speaking into the microphone with this pop filter here because before I was breathing on the microphone in the last test and causing all kinds of weird hissing noises or whatever. Anyway, I'm gonna start talking and I'm gonna drop this from its top setting right now down to a lower setting of off. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. That gives you an idea of what kind of amplification you can get out of this little tiny device. Basically, if you have a microphone that's phantom powered and you want to power it externally for say $35, this is about the only device on the market I've seen that can do it. The price is excellent, and with that little hack, basically I can use this little 1/8" cable right here to feed directly into the camera without any problem. It's clean, it sounds good. I'll have audio samples that you can download from nicer microphones in the crotch bar below so you can check those out if you really want to listen to the gain that's provided and how clean the noise floor is. I haven't seen anything above -60 dB, which is excellent. For $35, if you compare this to, say, the Juice Link device, I believe the DT454, that's like a $400 device, or the Beach Tech offering the SLR series, I think that one's $300 and some dollars. Those both provide phantom power, but they're a lot more expensive than this guy right here, and they're a lot bigger and bulkier. This is very compact, very simple. Right now I just have it Velcro strapped to the mic stand, and you could probably Velcro strap it to your rig pretty easily. I think value-wise, this thing is very, very useful, and with the hack, it makes it that much more convenient to just plug your cable in and plug it into your camera. You don't need any kind of weird adapter or anything like that. It is definitely something worth considering. Basically, if you're in the market for a very affordable preamp with phantom power capabilities, the iRig Pre is probably number one on my list as far as price goes. A lot of times people don't actually use all the extra features like having stereo panning and being able to switch the amount of gain on 2 different channels and so on. They basically just want to plug a microphone into their camera. If that's what you're looking for and you have phantom power devices that you need to use, I would definitely consider the iRig Pre. You follow this hack and basically you have a $35 excellent device that is great as a preamp and great as an XLR adapter for your camera. It's a lot more affordable, about 10 times less expensive than most of the other options on the market. It's compact, it runs on a single 9-volt battery, and it sounds really good for the price. If you need to have more than one microphone input into your camera, you could probably just use a Y splitter with this guy and run it into your camera with 2 of them. Glue 2 of these together, and now you have something that sounds as good or better than what Beach Tech has to offer in their SLR series. Most of the newer cameras don't require having AGC disable anymore, so you don't really need that with a lot of the new offerings. If you want a cheap preamp, definitely look at the iRig Pre. Anyway, I'll have audio samples over at DSLRFilmNoob.com where you can download those. I'll also have pictures showing how the hack is put together and what wires are being used if you want to check that over at DSLRFilmNoob.com. As always, thanks for watching, and if you like this content, please subscribe.